A friend from my childhood, he gave me a call at 5 a.m. And you know this feeling when you're still sleepy and you don't realize what's happening. And there was a message that the war began.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Coach U Show, where we interview successful entrepreneurs and get inside their minds. Today, we have Paul Akram, who is a managing partner of eLogic, and he runs his e-commerce company out of Ukraine. And he's got a strong message about what it's like being in Ukraine right now. I can't imagine all the craziness, Paul. And also a message that he has on working with other people in Ukraine. So guys, stay tuned. I'm excited to hear what's actually going on the ground. Paul, welcome.
Thanks for letting me into your podcast, and maybe let's start with the formal beginning of how the war started. So basically, as you said, I'm the managing partner of eLogic Commerce, and right now I'm in Ukraine because of our people. But the story is that our company has its roots in Ukraine. Then we moved our headquarters to Tallinn, Estonia. But however, we're 150 employees right now. Most of the people are located in Ukraine. Those are engineers, because Eastern Europe is famous for their engineers and engineering talent. And I mean, I was about to open up one more office in the western part of the country because we were expanding rapidly. So to give you the understanding, we're growing 100% every year. And a friend of mine, a friend from my childhood, he gave me a call at 5 a.m. And you know this feeling when you're still sleepy and you don't realize what's happening. And there was a message that the war began. He was scary, and he was afraid, and his voice was shaking, literally. So it wasn't like the regular call that you would get from your friend. Then my second idea was to read the news, because basically it was very interesting to understand what's really happening on the ground. And the first news I read that the war began because the country was bombing at 5:40 a.m. or something like that. My second idea was that I need to get all my there's how do you call it, alarming case that you should get with all of your documents and all of your things ready. Because you don't know what's happened, what will be happening next. So that was my second idea, and it was like 6 a.m. already, and I said, okay, I need to get my things, my passport, some amount of money, and power banks, because you don't know what to realize. Even though we had these, we started to prepare to the war weeks ago, because we had this. Business continuity plan and all this stuff, but the first thing is that you don't realize that it's happening somewhere else. So your first idea that in an hour you'll get soldiers up front of your house or an apartment or a hotel, and you don't know what to do next.
How did you know where you would like to go? I mean, when there's a war, right? There's no rules. They can invade, they can bomb anywhere. And you need to go all over, right? Or mostly in the western side of Ukraine.
So the first idea was to go to the border, because we successfully relocated the part of our team to Romania already, because our offices are located in 4 cities of Ukraine. So those are near the border. And the first idea is that you need to get into your car and go to the border, because you don't know what will happen next. However, there is a second downside of the war, is that you start to be afraid of your car being burned or something like that. So you don't realize if it's safe to go to the border. So after 3 hours, I finally got a coffee because we need to understand what to do. I read some news and understood that it's still safe on the western part of the country. Then I decided that, it's safe. I've started to think of the continuity, because we still had some employees that were on the ground. And as a leader, it's very important to give the message to your people, so they understand what to do next, because we had the plan, the evacuation plans and all this stuff. And that was the thing that I did, once I understood that there's no need to panic.
How did you spread the word or manage across your leadership team? If you have 150 people, that's a lot of people to manage and coordinate.
Yeah, first of all, we have, a lot of our managers are still located outside of the country because we have an office in Tallinn, Estonia, where we have the managers. Also, we have the human resource managers who are responsible for the units that we have. So they were coordinating the units. And we have this chat of the heads of delivery centers, of the managers, where we were like coordinating together. But as a leader, it's still very important for you to give the message to the team.
Paul, how has this affected your business?
We had some contracts that we were about to sign, and some of them put it on hold for a few weeks. Now we're backed up because we have we've opened temporary offices in Romania and Poland. Some of our people were located there, so all of our partners are sure that everything will be going on. And as of right now, we're hiring because we understand that there are some less fortunate people even in Ukraine that relocated from Kharkiv, from Kiev, and from regions that were affected. And even though we could have still remain the same size, we decided that we need to support the people that are less fortunate and lost their jobs.
I'd love to hear more about that.
As you can imagine, there were like few kinds of people that lost their jobs. First type of people is the companies that had offices in the cities where they were actually started. So they began with allocating from the regions. Mm-hmm. And of course, even though we're in the IT space and a lot of people are working remotely, but there were companies that didn't have strong position on what was happening. That's very important that you have a clear statement upfront to your people that you call a war with a word, and that you take the immediate action. Because, for example, we had some customers who were working with companies from Russia, and we get the meetings with them instantly, and we said, "Oh, okay, you need to decide whether you quit working with those people or will." Because there are some cases where it's not about business, it's about principles, it's about your feeling of yourself. That was very important for us. Then we did publish our mission statement that we understand that in the wartime, our main mission is to remain stable, to pay taxes, and to support the army, because the part of our income is going to support the army. That's type number one of the companies. Then there are other companies that didn't create the proper relocate plan to their people and their leaders. They just disappeared. So as a person, when you have your family, when you have your colleagues and no one is taking care of them, it's very important to get this support. And that's the type of companies that also disappeared or partially disappeared. Then there are some friends of ours that were losing customers because they were located in Kharkiv, for instance, and we even gave them some projects and leads for free, because it's not about the business anymore. It was about supporting our competitors.
Wow, that is an incredibly brave and dignified move. So I have a lot of friends that run software companies in the Ukraine, as you mentioned, right? Strong IT hub. I have friends like at SEMrush. I'm on their customer advisory board, and they have not only a lot of employees in the Ukraine, but a lot in Russia. And I have a lot of friends that are in Russia. And of course, countries like ours in the United States have imposed sanctions on Russian companies. What is your stance towards maybe other friends or employees or business partners that are in Russia?
Well, so I've got a lot of relatives there. And some of the relatives disappointed much because they didn't have any position, and they were repeating the words of the propaganda. However, for example, I have a friend that we used to work on so we were consulting a company from LA. They're a big activewear merchant, and there was an architect who called me right away and told me that their government is insane and he doesn't understand why that happens. So it's more or less about the position of people.
Their position.
I have a friend who is an architect in the big consulting company in the United States, and he lives in the United States, and he has a Russian passport, and we're like close friends. It doesn't mean that we'll be working or we work with Russian companies, but still there are people that are pretty clear and have their understanding of the situation. So there is one public company that is like one of the top 5 software engineering companies in the country that didn't want to call the war a war, and they didn't want to fire people in their Russian office. They were saying that it's about politics, not about the situation, and a lot of Ukrainian employees quit their company.
Almost like you can't win either way, because if you declare the war a war and you're in Russia, then you could potentially open yourself up to being targeted, right? At the same time, I have friends that own companies, and they say we are going to fire all the Russian employees, and any kind of contractors that are Russian, we're going to get rid of them. To which what I said to them was, well, these are individual people, right? So it should be, like you said, it should be up to them on do they support the war, or what is their position, instead of let's just fire all the Russians.
Yeah, there are a few points on that one. So there are people, and I have friends who also support this idea that if you like support Russian companies, then they're paying taxes there, and that affects the war because that's sponsoring the war. Then there is another point of view which says that it's still about the people, and if the people have the right understanding of the situation, it's still okay to work with them. But it's very tricky because I realize that I wouldn't like to work with Russian people anymore on the projects, or to cooperate with companies that have Russian employees, because a lot of people that I know that even have their vision, they wouldn't go out and say, well, what are you doing? They would rather stay calm, because they say that it will affect their families and it will affect their well-being. But that's not how democracy should work.
Yeah, that is a difficult situation. What does this mean for software companies in Ukraine going forward?
There are a few things that are very important. First of all, of course, there are customers that quit or started to look for engineers somewhere else, because at the end of the day, it's business and it's about diversifying risks. I believe in the hybrid model, that if the company has offices in Europe and Ukraine, it's still safe, because look at Israel. They're having the war for years now, and they have all brilliant engineering talent and employer companies. It's still safe. And of course, it depends on the regions, because, for example, Kyiv wasn't safe, but now it's pretty much safe. Kharkiv is still affected, where they had a lot of engineering talent, a lot of engineers located to the western part of the country. Some of them are located to Europe. So we have a big part of our team who are located to our European ops. It's pretty much about the geography. The more diversified the geography is, the better it is for the talent.
What are you hearing from other clients and partners?
So it depends on the geography again, because, for example, European customers seem to be better at what's happening, and they seem to be more realistic about the geography, because, for example, for a lot of American customers, they don't realize that there is a western part of the country and there is in the east where everything is going on. Because, to tell the truth, the war is going on for 8 years already. It's not something that appeared from 24 or so of February. Yeah, so it was on the east, it was going on, and it probably will still be for some time there. And geographically, European customers are easier to deal with it. For example, we've seen some customers that were trying to set up delivery centers in Latin America, and even ourselves, we were trying to hire talent there, and there is still a difference between the talent level from what we can see.
Well, Paul, especially in what you guys do, like Magento and other e-com, isn't Magento the main developers, aren't they, in the Ukraine?
So basically, the Adobe Commerce, or Magento, how it was formerly called Magento, it was founded in Ukraine by 2 Americans. So they had delivery center in Ukraine. And if you go to look at Adobe Commerce engineers, country-wise, you will see that the biggest number of engineers are located in Ukraine, then Poland, then Romania, then probably Belarus and Bulgaria. Then you would go to see them where else? Portugal. So, but however, the numbers are like, for example, 5K engineers in Ukraine, 40 engineers in Poland, and then 800 in other countries.
Yeah, that's my point. So you guys have an advantage because you are in Ukraine, and folks like Magento, the engineers are mainly from Ukraine.
Yeah, a big part of the team was relocated to Austin when the acquisition happened. However, I mean, we created this size and we grew this number of engineers because we had really close connections to Magento, the core team. We had meetups with them. We did a lot of contribution to the core, and we were awarded by Adobe. That's how it happened historically.
Now, your LinkedIn profile says you're from Brooklyn, but I don't believe that you're in Brooklyn.
No, I'm not from Brooklyn. However, I mean, prior to the pandemic, I was traveling a lot, and we opened up the representative office in Brooklyn, New York. So we have people on the ground there because we understood at some point that we need to have people on the ground in each region where we are. And so we have people on the ground in Estonia, where we have our headquarters, then in Nordics, in Stockholm, because we have our sales office there, and in Brooklyn, New York.
Serve the American clients.
Yeah, we have American clients. Like, for example, we work with Heinz Brands, which is a big public company. We also started to do a consulting project for one of the Fortune 100 clients. I can't tell right now about the name of it, but that's one of the biggest consumer electronic brands in the world. And that's our American customer base.
Congratulations, especially all the craziness that's gone on the last couple of years and in this war. Paul, is there a message that you would like everyone to know?
So it's very important to understand that it's still safe to work with Ukrainian people when you work with these companies from Ukraine. You support the economy definitely, and of course you should understand that there are safer parts, like the western part of the country. There are less fortunate people on the east, so you need to consider the geography. But in general, the level of the talent is very decent. It's very good to support the economy and work with decent talent, because at the end of the day, the war will end and the country and the economy will still evolve.
That is an incredible message. Thank you so much, Paul. Any final words for our audience?
So maybe some short promotion on what we do, because that's also very important for us. So Logic Commerce is the commerce consultant company. We don't focus on Magento right now. We have more platform offerings. So we have Magento for mid-level business, and we have Salesforce Commerce Cloud for the upper enterprise segment of the customers. And our mission is to grow commerce for our partners. So that's what we do, and that's what we are bringing up to our customer base.
Who's the ideal customer for eLogic?
The ideal customer is the merchant that is the size of the revenue is $5+ million in the segments of consumer electronics, fashion, luxury and jewelry, or wholesale. Those are the industries we're stronger at, and that's the customer that is looking to grow steadily, because our approach is that we're not the project factory. We're more of the consultants that have experience, and we help our merchants to grow further. Because, for example, we have a customer that started with us when they had $5 million of revenue. Now they are acquired by Foot Locker, and they're doing like $150 million per year.
Wow. Hopefully they paid you a nice fee.
Yeah, and that's the journey that we did together. So it's not about themselves or us just attracting a big merchant. That's what we do.
Well, the best way to be able to help companies like yours in the Ukraine is to give them more business and have everyone grow together. And with something like e-commerce, that's fantastic. With Heinz and the electronics company and the other apparel companies, good job.
And actually, we did this by putting up a lot of content. We're always really active in the e-commerce community. We were doing a lot of podcasts prior to that. I was speaking out on the conferences, and we even contributed to the Magenta core, and for example, added the value to the platform that we started with by just so you know that there is now a possibility to manage multiple warehouses from the single instance, and that was our addition. So we did the multi-source inventory plugin for the button for free, and that's what we're doing, the synergy and win-win approach.
Wow, that is amazing. Do you know Paul Ryazanov by chance?
Yeah, I know him. He's a friend of mine, and we even did some business together some time ago.
Yeah, we hung out a number of times, and he's a big fan of the Golden State Warriors. So the day before I came to speak at his conference, I was at the Warriors headquarters, and I got a bunch of like basketballs and shirts and whatnot, and I brought them all the way to Kyiv where I was speaking at his conference. And I think that was right before the big bombing that was like 6 years ago, you remember?
Wow, the world is really small. So he's located in one of Frankivsk right now. It's like a few hours of driving from here.
And then I was speaking at a conference in Romania, and he was in Bucharest, and he was there. It's a big e-commerce conference, and he surprised me with the jersey that instead of Steph Curry, it had my face and my number on me. So I took a bunch of pictures of me and Paul, and he's educating lots of these young adults on e-commerce and using our techniques, using Facebook to be able to drive sales with e-commerce. So I thought that was really cool, and I've been keeping in touch with him ever since. So very, very small world. So it's awesome spending time with you.
Indeed. And I really like his approach. So he's more focused on the marketing, and we're more like challenge savvy. So for example, when the merchant with requirement of like replatforming or something big comes in, so we're more the engineering and re-engineering the processes. But he has a wonderful company, and he's also supporting the country.
Yeah, I love what you guys are both doing. Him more in like PPC and running ads, and you on the engineering. That's fantastic. A lot of my friends run companies in the Ukraine, and funny thing is that the Americans in e-commerce are not quite as aware. They see Ukraine as like a place to hire more of the freelancers, as opposed to the very top talent.
That's because we never had really like a lot of consulting companies in the e-commerce space. We were more on the like engineering side, and even ourselves as a company, we transformed to doing that. So for example, like the pretty interesting story of how we attracted Haynes. So they were looking for the content online, and they were struggling of doing this flash sale after the migration from Magenta 1 to Magenta 2. Yeah. And the store was failing, and the like 1 point something million of sales in one of their platforms. And they found an article of us doing stress tests. And we did the stress test. We showed them the bottlenecks. They were fixed. And after that, their store could handle 25K requests per minute. And the revenue increased 4 times. And that's a very easy output, economical output to measure the value in numbers.
That's beautiful, because you can measure everything with e-commerce. So it really doesn't matter if they're in America. Like a lot of our California friends are going to want to hire people in California, but I tell them the very best Magento, Salesforce, or other e-com folks are in Ukraine and Romania and these other places. Do you know Valentin Radu of OmniConvert?
No, I don't know him.
He's one of the top trainers. A lot of training on e-commerce. Yeah, the customer lifetime value model, and the software that mainly is like Shopify, but plugging in and doing automatic segmentation and optimization. So very small world. I was in Romania 4 months ago. Yeah, 4 months ago in Bucharest. So hopefully things will settle down a little bit, and maybe I can come see you.
Yeah, and actually it's pretty interesting, because I bought a tickets to United States because we were to meet with our customers. I wanted to go to Shop Talk as well.
Oh yeah, that was just last week. Yeah.
So that was my plan, to go to the conference, also to hang out with some of our friends in California, and to do a lot of meetings with our existing new prospects. And the lockdown changed everything.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we're in our video studio here in Las Vegas. So if you go to a conference in the US, there's a high probability it's here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the award that we won from Magento in 2019. So we received it on the stage of Win Las Vegas, where they had like Magento Imagine conference in 2018. It was the last Imagine they were doing, because not right now it's Adobe Summit or something like that. And that was the last in-face event they had, and we received an award there. So it was a pretty cool time in Vegas.
Congratulations. Well, I would love for more of my American friends to be able to hear about you and see what an incredible opportunity is to work with our Ukrainian IT companies. How can people find out more about you?
Our website, it's pretty fluent, logic.co. Yeah, where we have the whole team that is working on our website. So we have the content team, we have the web designers and developers that are doing like a lot of content pages and service pages. And even the team of 5 writers constantly working with our team to get expertise out to our blog.
That's incredible. Have you published any books?
Not yet. So we're about to publish a platform in white paper. I think it will be in a month or so.
Yeah.
It will be some kind of content that we'll be doing. And I was really active in the conference space. The conferences, for example, I was also planning to attend, they have the Middle East, Seamless Middle East conference. So I was planning to speak there because for some reason, we started to get a lot of prospects from Middle East, and we didn't do anything intentionally for that. So, for example, we were reached out by the company called Mom's World. They're the biggest childcare products company in the whole MENA region. And right now we're implementing a new headless strategy for them.
Well, if you want to publish an ebook, or if you want to take your blog posts and turn them into some kind of lead magnet, one of my websites has 1 million organic visitors a month, freeebooks.net, and has a domain rank of 74.
Wow.
So that would be pretty good for SEO for you.
We're right now just 10K visitors online a month. But for example, if you like Google Magento development company in the United States, we will be number 1. And yeah, it would be very good to stay connected, definitely with States again, and hopefully the war will end, and we'll be reconnecting with the e-commerce world.
Paul, thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing your experiences. We're going to take these things that you said and turn it into a blog post, and we're going to cut out social media snippets so people can hear more about you, hear more about eLogic, and our important friends in the Ukraine and the different ways that we can help them, which also helps us grow in e-commerce as well. So thank you so much, Paul, for being on the show.
That would be much appreciated. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll catch you in the next episode.